Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be my very first super epic full face of dupes video. Some of these I have tested out side by side before. I know how they work. I know that they are dupes. And then there are some that I'm testing out for the first time today. I am wearing everything on each side of my face. So one side is drugstore, one side is high-end. Can you guys guess which side is drugstore? So here's side one, and here is side two. So before you finish the video, leave me a comment and let me know which side you thought was the high-end side and which side you thought was a drugstore side. So yeah, if you guys want to see an epic full face of dupes tutorial, then please keep watching. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the eyes. I do have 2 or 3 dupes for the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. So here's what the palette looks like. As you can see, they're all cool toned. So this is the Beauty Creations Not Out eyeshadow palette. This is $10 on shophush.com. I'm sure there are other places you can find it, but I'm familiar with ShopHush and I love ShopHush, and also I do have a 10% off coupon code. It's not a commission code or anything, it's just a discount. So you can use Glamour Index, I'll put it right here on the screen, in all caps to get you a 10% off. And it's pretty much set up the exact same way as the Urban Decay palette. So dupe number 2 is one from Absolute New York. So on the Arcade House website, this is $11.99. I'm pretty sure I paid like $7 for it at TJ Maxx. Same shade selection to a T. Like I said, I am going to use the Beauty Creations palette instead of the Absolute Icon one, but I will post swatches side by side of the Urban Decay Naked Smoky. With each of these palettes, I'll have the Naked Smoky palette on top, and also the Urban Decay palette does have names. The Beauty Creations one does not. So first I'm going to go into 13, which is that whitish ivory skin tone colored shade from both palettes, and just use this to set my entire eye. So next I'm going to go into the shade Combust, which is kind of like a taupey skin tone colored eyeshadow. This is one that can be used as a crease shade. You can build this up to make it darker, but it's really the only like crease transition shade in the palette. So now I'm gonna go into Password, which is a matte kind of bluish undertone gray shade. So I am kind of starting to see that with the Beauty Creations palette, it does start out a lot more sheer and it's a lot more buildable, which actually makes it somewhat easier to work with. So I think I'm gonna go in with a mixture of Dagger and Slanted. These are both bluish tone gray shades. So now I think I'm gonna do a hint of Smolder, which is the satin purpley shade in the palette. So I'm gonna go into Armor, which is a really pretty silvery gray shade. It does have a little bit of a like chunky sparkle. Actually, I kind of want to see what this looks like wet. Ooh, that's pretty. I will say there's a tad bit more fallout on the dupe side, like just a little bit, not really bad. Going up to the brow bone highlight, I'm gonna mix 13 and Combust together. So now I'm gonna go into my favorite shade. I'm gonna go into High. So I'm gonna take that on a pencil brush and use that for my inner corner highlight. So if we can dupe High, then I'll be perfectly happy, because that's really the only shade in here that I really care about. And we've done it, I'm so excited. So I'm gonna go into Black Market. Just kind of smudge this along the top lash line. So I actually feel like the dupe palette's black is a lot more intense and pigmented. Moving on to like the eyeliner, the Anastasia Waterproof Cream Color in the shade Jet could not be more pigmented. So I'm gonna use my most recent favorite eyeliner. This is from shopmissa.com. This is the Amuse Cosmetics Gel Liner Pot, I believe. This is in the shade Black. This is also extremely black, very, very intense. It does hold up all day long, and it does have a matte finish. I do feel like the Anastasia one does define the eyes a lot better. It's a lot more rich and creamy, and I mean, they'll give you the same look. Like, it's still like a gel liner is a gel liner. So next up, I'm trying to find a dupe for the very infamous Kat Von D tattoo liner in the shade Trooper Black. So the Kat Von D liner is $20, and I have 2 different dupes for you guys. The first one I have is the Jessie's Girl Waterproof Liquid Liner. I did find this one at Rite Aid. The other one that's become a little more popular lately is the NYX Epic Ink Eyeliner in the shade Black. Now everyone's been asking me to test this out with the Kat Von D one, so this is the one I'm gonna be testing out with that one today. So they all had this like brush tip applicator. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a wing with the Kat Von D on this side and the NYX Epic Ink on this side. Now I can already tell you the Kat Von D one is not worth $20, because both the NYX and the Jessie's Girl liners are just as good, if not better. Now I will say I feel like the Jessie's Girl liner is a little bit more similar as far as application to the Kat Von D liner, just because they both go on kind of sheer. I feel like the NYX one is a little bit more pigmented and intense, like as soon as you start applying it. So yeah, Kat Von D tattoo liner has been duped. I have a dupe for the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, or what I think is a dupe, and that is the e.l.f. Aqua Primer Mist. But when I have worn these side by side and worn them each on their own, they do seem to do the same thing, if they do anything at all. So the Smashbox Primer Water is actually $32. This is a trial size. This is $16, which is still pretty pricey. And the e.l.f. Aqua Primer Mist is $8. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray the Smashbox one on this side. I'm gonna try to cover up my eyes. And then here is the e.l.f. one. Now I will say I hate the mister on the e.l.f. one. If you try to use this as a setting spray and not as a primer spray, it would totally mess up your makeup because it is so harsh. Can you guys see that? Probably not. But it's very like, so I'm gonna take what I just sprayed on my hand and smack this on. They do the exact same thing. So going back to the brows real quick, I do have a potential brow gel dupe. So this is the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I feel like this is the most infamous brow gel there is. Originally, this is $22. So I'm not someone that wants to pay that much for brow gel. I don't really feel like it's that important. But I did find this one right here that's $1 on shopmissday.com. And all I know is that this one definitely does feel like glue for my brows, and my brow hairs do not move all day long. So this is the Clean Color Framiest Lash and Brow Clear Lash and Brow Mascara. This is definitely not a package dupe. Like, the wand on this one is pretty large. You guys probably can't even see it, but it's like a traditional mascara wand, except maybe a little bit bigger. But the Anastasia one is a lot smaller and more suitable for the brows. So I'm gonna let each of these set because you can't tell anything about them when they're wet, but we will come back to these later on. We're trying to find a dupe for the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. This is $34, so we're definitely not comparing the shade selection because that almost can't really be beat, but we are comparing the formula and the effect that it gives on the skin. So all the credit goes to Stephanie Nicole for doing this. Like, I think she looks up ingredients of every product to see if there's anything out there similar, and she found that literally the exact same ingredients are in the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. But just to give you a quick little rundown on the Fenty foundation, how it works for me, this isn't my favorite foundation. I definitely don't feel like it's worth the money. I feel like the hype is all around the shade selection and not necessarily the formula. Because yes, the shade selection is very inclusive, but I don't feel like the formula is, because this formula is very geared towards like oily skin or people that like a more matte finish. If you don't fall in those categories, then this foundation just won't work for you, whether you can find your shade in it or not. So I am going to pop up on the screen a side-by-side comparison list of the ingredients of the Fenty versus the Catrice foundations. There are some ingredients that are out of order, but for the most part, it's all the same. The only real difference that the Fenty foundation has over the Catrice is that the Fenty one has better ingredients for your skin. Like, it has different extracts and stuff. It has like papaya extract, pineapple fruit extract, Paulina cupanis, whatever that means, extract. Do they really do a whole lot as far as the effect that they give you on your skin? Probably not. The Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation is $10.99 at Ulta. This is online only. You cannot find this in stores. And they have 4 shades. But I know this dupe won't be beneficial to everybody, because if you can't find your shade, then it's not very advantageous to you. But if you can find your shade, then it can save you some moolah. Okay, so here's the Fenty foundation, and here is the Catrice foundation. They haven't really had time to set on either side yet, so we'll come back to the finish and talk about that later. But as far as the coverage goes, it seems extremely similar. But going back to the brow gels, they feel very, very similar. I will say the Anastasia one feels a little bit more crunchy, like not in a horrible, like uncomfortable, like I can't move my brows way, but just by touch, they do feel more crunchy, and I can actually feel it more in my brow hairs. But going back to the finish of the foundations, both sides look identical. I mean, you cannot tell that I have different foundations on. Okay, so moving on to cream products. So I also have a dupe for the Fenty Beauty Match Stick in the shade Amber. But this is the NYX Wonder Stick in the shade Light Medium, and this does have a contour stick on one side and a highlighter shade on the other. The NYX Wonder Stick is $12 and the Fenty's $25, but the contour stick side is literally identical on the skin. But when you swatch it out, here's the NYX one, here is the Fenty one. They look nothing alike. The NYX one looks a lot more warm and more of like a bronzer shade, but on the skin, they look the exact same. I can't say that enough. Okay, so here's the Fenty side. Here is the NYX side. Hopefully you guys could tell that both of these blend out extremely effortlessly and very, very fast. I will say I find that the NYX stick's a little bit more creamy, whereas the Fenty stick's a little bit more dry. These are dupes. So the next thing we're trying to find a dupe for is the Kandee Johnson and Too Faced Candy Glow Luminizer. So I'm not really sure if I do have a dupe for this, because there have been things I've tested out just like swatching and stuff, but not actually on my face. This is limited edition, but it's $30. Like $30 for a stick highlighter is pretty, like, it's pretty up there. This is a really unique shade because it's a pink tone, but it kind of looks more rose gold and like warm on the skin. It does have some silvery pink sparkles in here, which people aren't really liking. A lot of people are saying that this actually fades to just be like sparkle on their face, but this is a very dewy, glowy long wearing stick highlighter, but if you have oily skin, this will definitely make you look oily. So the first one we're gonna be testing out is the NYX Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator in the shade 01 Sunbeam. So here's the NYX one, and here is the Kandee Johnson one. So as you can see, as far as like the tone goes, they're very, very close. And I feel like they look very, very similar on the skin. I'm actually kind of shocked because I didn't feel like the NYX one would work, but it looks pretty identical. Now I will say the NYX one does not have that sparkle. So yeah, I would say the NYX one's a very good dupe as far as the color goes. This is the I Want Candy Banana Pudding Face Powder. So this is more for like your under eye area. I did not like this. It's way too mattifying and it's way too yellow. But I do have a couple of different dupes to show you guys today. So the first one, which I feel like is the closest to the Banana Pudding Face Powder, is the Sephora Bright Set finishing powder in the shade 01 Banana. So here's the banana pudding powder, here's the Sephora powder. So as you can see, they look pretty similar on the skin. The only thing I see different is that the Sephora one almost looks a little bit more like a neon yellow, but on the skin, obviously it's not gonna look like that. So the other product that I have to show you guys is kind of like an alternative, but I actually think this one's better. It's a lot more finely milled and soft, and it doesn't look as matte and like chalky and stuff under the eyes. So this is another product from Absolute New York, which you can also find on iKate House. So this is the HD Flawless Pressed Finishing Powder in the shade Brightening Banana. I mean, they actually look pretty similar. Like they're both kind of like a deeper yellow, like they're not too bright. So let's go ahead and do the Kandee Johnson powder on this side. It's so obvious on the skin, I feel like you can definitely see a line of demarcation from where the powder is versus where it's not, like over here. So yeah, we're not really trying to find a dupe necessarily, we're trying to find a dupe, but better. So here's the Sephora, here is the banana pudding powder. I like the way the Sephora one looks on my skin better. Like I feel like the Kandee Johnson powder looks a lot more cakey and powdery and chalky under my eyes. So yeah, they're not dupes, but I definitely feel like the Sephora one is better in my opinion. And also this is like $16 at Sephora. Also, I feel like this brow, the one with the Anastasia Brow Gel, is clinging to every powder that comes in contact with it. So I definitely feel like the Clean Color Brow Gel is a dupe, but better. But we're trying to find a dupe for the Too Faced Sweetie Pie Radiant Matte Bronzer. This is part of the Peaches and Cream collection, but this just looks so natural and so beautiful on the skin. It just blends out so fast. So this is the Malibu Glitz foundation powder. I'm not really sure what they're calling this. It says blusher, but I think they're calling them foundation powders on the website. But this is in the shade number 3 Cinnamon. This is from shopmissa.com. This is $1. You can kind of see when they're put right next to each other that they kind of have like a similar undertone to them. They look almost identical when you swatch them out. Now there's definitely a formula difference. The Too Faced one's a lot more pigmented, it's a lot more buttery and smooth, and it just applies a lot easier. But for $1 and like pretty much the same kind of tone, it's kind of hard to beat. These are dupes. This one's still better, but they're dupes. So I'm gonna get real cliche on you guys, and we're gonna talk about dupe for the Nars Orgasm Blush. Look how cheap I am. Like, I don't even buy the real thing. Like, this is a little sample that came in like a Sephora package or something. But I have 3 to show you guys today. There may be 1 or 2 that are closer than the other. So the first one I have to show you is the AOA Studio Wonder Baked Highlighter in the shade Fresa. So this is $1 on shopmissa.com. I've got a lot of $1 dupes. You're welcome. Okay, so there's Fresa. As you can see, it's a beautiful shade. It has a really pretty golden undertones. The next one I have is a Milani Baked Blush in the shade 01 Dolce Pink. But this one has less of a golden sheen to it compared to Fresa, but they still have like a golden undertone. And the last one I have is from the Model's Own Sculpt and Glow Contour Palette in the shade Medium to Tan. So here's what the blush looks like, and it's so buttery. Nars, $30. AOA Studio, $1. So the next thing I have a dupe for is the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo in the shades Mean Money and Hustler Baby. So I'm just gonna be talking about a dupe for the more intense side in the duo. The other side's very just natural and subtle. It's not all that special, but they call this a supercharged side. It's like a peachy white gold, but I'm pretty sure the Makeup Revolution Shimmer Brick in the shade Radiant, I'm pretty sure this is a dead on dupe. When you mix all these shades together and kind of focus your brush in the white gold down here, it's almost exact. I'm gonna put the Fenty on this side, obviously. So I'm just gonna go in and get all the shades from the little brick and kind of focus it more in the white gold. I'm so excited. So here is the $7 Makeup Revolution side, and here is the $34 Rihanna Fenty side. So yeah, these are definitely dupes. So this is the Too Faced and Kandee Johnson Melted Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Freshly Baked. So I do have two different options for you guys. One is a liquid lipstick, so it's gonna be matte. But the other one is a shade dupe. So it's like a glossy finish, but if you don't like liquid lipsticks like me, then this would be another option for you. So the first one's from ColourPop. This is the Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Clueless. As you can see, they look pretty much identical. The only difference is the ColourPop one is a tad bit darker, like literally just a hair darker, but I feel like on the lips it's not really going to translate like that. And then the other one I have is the NYX Intense Butter Gloss in the shade, I don't know how to say this, Tres Leche, but the shade is pretty much identical. So I'm gonna do the Too Faced one on the bottom, and then I'm gonna do the ColourPop one on top. But as you can see, it is literally exact on the lips. Like there is absolutely no difference. So yeah, I feel like this was a very, very successful video, especially considering I haven't tried a lot of these side by side before. So hopefully this video will save you guys some money. So thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me through this extremely long video. Thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe, follow me on all my social media. All the links are below, as well as all the products I talked about today, including some ingredient comparisons. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Mwah.